It just felt like a comic book brought to life.
Oh, that was really fun and like weirdly emotional.
I have a theory about why Galactus is always hungry.
Especially Fantastic Four. Felt like there was another half an hour worth of movie in there.
I really wish they used Natasha Lyonne for that.
But yeah, like in terms of like the whole Doctor Doom tease.
Greetings, Palaxians. Today on the Bounty Board, we're discussing Fantastic Four First Steps. So kick up that warp drive and let's punch it.
Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast. I'm so glad that you are here. My name's MT, and I'm here today with my three wonderful pals, Whitney, Brett, and Tommy. What's going on, Fantastic Gang?
Oh man, there's four of us. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. We are the
Galactic
Fantastic.
Boy.
Oh,
Dibs on
that
Invisible
made-
Woman. Just kidding.
That made all of us so excited.
Yeah.
Peggy can be our Franklin because they both have like big wonky eyes.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Both are carbon beings, living beings that are clearly augmented with AI.
Yeah, obviously. I do think that about
Weird
Pugsley. I don't
CG
think he's
baby.
from here.
By the way, props to Vanessa Kirby for towing the company line and claiming that baby was 100% a real baby the entire time. If it was, that baby needs to be checked out by a Catholic priest.
No,
and prayed.
that's the same acting baby from the Flash movie, okay? Like, don't knock a baby getting work, okay?
I think it might actually be the original baby from Baby Geniuses, if anyone remembers those movies.
I think it was also in Twilight.
Yeah, it was Renesmee's baby brother.
Baby, yes.
Oh my god, we gotta rank best babies.
Best fake babies.
This is an S tier baby. This baby's kind of mid.
But yes, no, Fantastic Four First Steps just came out a couple days ago. We all saw it. We all have our thoughts. But before we get into those thoughts, I want to get your general opinions about the movie before we expound on them.
So I saw it twice. I saw it Thursday night and then Friday night. After Thursday night, the first time I watched these movies, I always kind of watch them from the mindset that I'm going to be talking it on Palaxy and hopefully on Screen Crush as well. So I'm like, all right, I've got to watch this movie from a thinking standpoint. What am I going to say about it? What do I notice? What do I think? And I will be honest, after the first viewing, I was not as pumped as I wanted to be from it. It did not. I left Superman feeling energized and excited from so many different angles, as a fan, as an actor myself, as a creator myself, as just a appreciator of movies. I left this movie with more kind of questions in my head about where is the MCU, what direction is it heading in? Then I watched it a second time and I actually liked it a lot more in the second viewing. And I think it did for me the thing I've been on many, many, many podcasts asking for, which is it was not a movie that I was just waiting to get to the Easter eggs and the post-credit scene. It was a singular tale of this family. We're dropped right in the middle of the story, and then this big event happens. It is the thing I've been asking for, and I still have some things that I didn't love about it, but overall, it was a very positive experience for me. I think it's a huge step in the right direction for MCU movies and these big movies that they want to come out with, and especially if we're getting less movies each year, a movie of this caliber, I think, is a really great sign.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. The first time I saw it, I wasn't as into it, but then I got really high last night and I rewatched it and it was so much better. I think because also my enjoyment level of a movie goes up the more kind of jokes that we can all make about it. And I think that when I was stoned, I found a lot more funny stuff in the movie than I did the first time. So, I don't know, Stoner Classic of the Year, Fantastic Four, maybe. Maybe.
Oh my God.
Okay. I love that. What about you, Brett?
Like Tommy, I think I didn't love my first viewing. I liked it more than Whitney in our first viewing, but I didn't love it. I was kind of surprised that so many people enjoyed the movie as much as they did, because I was like, man, it's really disjointed. And on my second viewing, I found a lot more to love about it. And I appreciate that. I still think it's got a lot of problems. It does a lot of interesting things. I think it's a fascinating movie to study. And we'll get into a lot of my little thoughts about it. But yeah, it's a very Fantastic Four movie in the sense that it's got a lot of moving pieces. So it definitely feels like Reed made this movie because It is a complex piece.
And I think it's important to mention that in between the first and second viewing, mysterious portals opened up on our front porch and $6,000 checks appeared.
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, no, that was
of course.
awesome. Oh, that was so good. Thank
And a
you,
joint
Kevin.
for Whitney.
Yeah,
And
and a joint for Whitney.
Yeah, it was signed by Kevin Feige, and I smoked that shit right
For
out.
some reason, an AA big book for me. It was like, just remember your purpose. I know you're going to want to get high for this second viewing, but
A case of bubble water and the AA big book
Exactly.
sounds perfect.
That's the starter pack for any sober person. Fizzy water and a big book and Fantastic Four. All right, but I think we all know the true Fantastic Four opinion we've all been waiting for is Mastertainment. I want to get the MT sauce out.
Yeah, I want to hear about it. Especially because the whole movie is blue. Give me your multiple color theories. What was happening?
Well, no, okay. I guess to briefly touch on that, really, really briefly, but like I love how the movie is blue and orange because like that's basically what the movie is about. It's about space, which is the blue Infinity Stone, and people, which is the Soul Stone, orange. And so it's just like, oh my god, like this is all about family, and I love that aspect of the movie a lot. I love how like the whole world came together in like a big family unit because like that would never happen in a million fucking years on our planet. So it was nice to see. Like as a human being, like at least one time in my life, like a whole world united. That's really nice to see.
You can't make me make a teleportation device. I'm not giving you all my copper wiring for your teleportation device. Probably gonna make my son autistic.
Literally, that's how people think. It's so crazy.
I don't recommend giving teleportation to your children. If they teleport, what we should do is harvest all of the oil from whales and use that to power teleportation. Sorry.
But no, like I really enjoyed like, you know, the earnestness of this movie and like, you know, and how it feels like a 60s a Fantastic Four comic. And it just felt like a comic book brought to life. And I really appreciated that. I did wish that we saw more like street level villains or antagonists because we had that little brief little montage at the beginning, but like I just feel like having Galactus be the first villain that they actually properly fight wasn't the best choice. I wanted to see more like, you know, like them punching Diablo or like them fighting the Puppet Master, like rather than them talk about it. I just wanted to see it more.
Yeah, don't cut out John Malkovich. Rookie mistake.
Exactly. I feel like his performance was going to be incredible, and we just are never going to see it. It's never going to see the light of day. And apparently there's no Shackman cut either, apparently. I mean...
Release the Shackman cut.
Release
Let's
it.
become toxic about it.
Honestly, let's start a toxic #trend. Let's go.
I think this movie needs that. I want the 4-hour director's cut of this movie.
I really do.
You know, Brett, you make an interesting point. Like amongst my like just interpersonal nerd conversations, not on any sort of like professional YouTube channel, kind of the main feedback that we've all been sharing is like we would have liked both of these movies to be a half an hour longer. Like I've never been
100%.
I've never been in the school that these movies need to be shorter. I love that these giant, if a movie costs $200 million+ to make, like put that money on the screen. Fam. Make me have to see it twice because I miss 5 solid minutes of movie from pissing and kissing. And
pissing and kissing. Top 2 activities at any movie theater.
Absolutely. And anyone else. I'll say that all day. You know, that's one thing that Whitney and I have always gotten along on. But I really genuinely mean, like, I've heard from no less than 5 of our peers that were like, especially Fantastic Four, felt like there was another half an hour worth of movie in there. And I think even Superman was a little more, I think, kind of almost edited like a TikTok scroll. Like it was like, there was just so much happening and things just moved so fast. Even the like highly emotional scenes were only 2 minutes long or so. You didn't get anything that was quite like the Sue Storm going out with the baby, addressing the crowd, like there wasn't much of that in Superman. And I think both movies would have benefited. And I wish we still lived in the era of DVDs and Blu-rays where we would get you know,
Yeah, the extra
2.5, 2 hour and
features.
45-minute version of these movies.
Right.
But we probably won't, because the only thing they could put it on now is streamer, and and they just don't tend to do that. They make all their money in bonus content on the featurettes they put out beforehand, and then like the series they have that's like kind of the making of. Just to say, you're absolutely right, Brett.
Yeah, no, because when watching it, I like the second time I was watching it, I was like, you know what? This feels like I want this to be keep the budget and do this as a 4-episode miniseries where each episode focuses on a different member of the Fantastic Four, and you still have the other characters developing in the background, but like you got to really just like follow one character. And what's interesting is like this movie, most movies have like a 3-act structure, and this almost had a 4-act structure to it. So like they're doing like a lot of like there's a lot of movie packed into this. And because it's a space epic, you also want those like long Space Odyssey shots where they're just floating in space, really feeling just like how small they are in the grand scheme of things. And like you need slow shots for that. So like, yeah, as a space epic and as like a character study of 4 major characters, I really wish that we got like a really, really long piece of media to digest everything.
No, I definitely feel the same way. I talked about this on Twitter like yesterday or something, but like I feel like that the movie would have really benefited from a sequence of us watching the world sort of freak out about the fact that the Fantastic Four is dooming everybody else for their specific baby. And I feel like even though the theme of the movie was family and togetherness, and like they just wanted to like make it look like, oh, the whole world is always on their side and it's all great, that's not what would have happened in real life. Like people would have freaked out. Like the government would have went after this baby. Like cults would have went after this baby. Their rogues gallery would have been after this baby. So like
Joe Rogan would have been after this baby.
Joe Rogan himself.
To that, I think like I really wish they used Natasha Lyonne for that, right? Because she could be
the voice of the common man,
of the people,
the hottest common man.
Yeah, the hottest common man.
Really sexy, smoky voiced common man.
Bullshit. But like you kind of see it in the Sue scene, but like I really wish we did get to see more of the people sort of feel like the Fantastic Four have saved us time and time again. They've made the world a better place. In the beginning, they were like they demilitarized the entire world, which is crazy.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't like pick up on that the first time because
it's very brief.
My first whole viewing, I was kind of like, where are the cops? Like there's none. not even like one cop is gonna show up in Times Square at all.
They cured racism too.
They cured racism. Like that's what's crazy is that let's give it up for the 4 white people who ended racism.
One is orange.
He's orange
now. Yeah, so's the president, and that guy's pretty fucking racist.
The South Park had the orange the thing the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh,
there was definitely we saw a big orange thing on the big screen. We saw a little orange thing on Paramount Plus. So.
But yeah, I think like having a moment that we got to see the people be like, no, we've trusted them before, and now we're going to trust them again because we're all in this together and we're going to all make it work for our heroes and stand up for our heroes, I think is like something I wanted more of. It's in there a little bit, but I wanted more out of it. Which is kind of my opinion on the whole movie. I want more.
I just realized I would pay so much money to have a DVD extra that's just the Fantastic Four solving worldwide homophobia. That would be fucking awesome. Just because Pedro Pascal would be all up at Pride in a crop top as Reed Richards.
100%.
He would build a special extra stretchy crop top just for Pride.
We'd all be extra stretchy.
So bad.
My God. And we'd all be extra stretchy.
All of us. I think that'd be great. Yeah. I'd love that.
I want to say, like, pacing issues and movie issues aside, there were some things about the movie that I really loved. Specifically, Michael Giacchino's score. I thought,
oh my God, yeah.
We first got, I think it teased at last year's Comic-Con when they actually had the Fantastic Four car flying by or whatever it was, the stunt they did. And that might have even been 2 years ago. I don't know. But it was, anyway, that score was phenomenal. The Galactus score, even like, I know he probably didn't have anything to do with other than musically directing it. The weird folk song about Galactus devouring me at the end that was played in the end credits, the weird, like, kind of like folksy song. Like, I just thought the music was really, really good. It felt like the neo-futuristic tones of the city and of the world were played. So it was almost like being on a ride at Epcot Center or like in Tomorrowland at Disney.
Yeah.
Like, the music during like lighter times was really good. The gravity of the music during more intense scenes was really good. I thought in terms of music for superhero movies, this was a top 5 for me.
Michael Giacchino don't miss, bro. He don't miss. That man is like so good. He's amongst.
He can do it all. He can compose. He can direct. He can he can
sing. He can dance.
And the dinner here is never second best.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That the score was. I purposely shielded myself from the score, like in the lead up to this movie, so I could experience it like for the first time. Because I know we got some like sneak peeks and all that, and like it was just amazing to hear it in IMAX and like to just experience. I feel like IMAX is the optimum way to experience this movie for the first time.
I really wish we had seen it in IMAX, especially after seeing like a Twitter post that went around that was like, "This is what you saw. If you didn't see it in IMAX, this is what you saw." And I was like, "Oh shit, that would have been cooler."
Bro.
So I think the next time we go see it, Bretters, we should do IMAX for.
I think we should do an IMAX showing too, because like so much of the movie is supposed to make you feel small, right?
Yes,
like you're supposed to feel insignificant,
bro. Like the whole space sequence, like on their way to Galactus, meeting Galactus, and running away from the Silver Surfer, was like incredible. Like my mouth was open, like just watching it all happening. I was like, I feel like I'm here with them, and like I feel the intensity of what's happening. And like that's
awesome.
what like usually like IMAX is just like, oh yeah, this is a nice little experience. Like it's really loud, like the screen is big, but like IMAX is really earned for this movie. And the last time I felt that was literally Avatar 1. When I watched that in IMAX, I was like, yeah, like this is like the optimum experience.
Yeah, this is what IMAX was made for.
I got Avatar from it as well. I was like, oh yeah, this is a spectacle of visions.
Yes,
of imagery.
Also Interstellar as well. Like I did watch Interstellar in IMAX.
I'm so glad I saw. I did as well. I saw Interstellar in IMAX by myself in the dead center of an IMAX theater at 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, holy! Like the organ music from that score. But I thought that entire sequence going to encounter Galactus and then returning from it was kind of Matt Jackman's like tribute to Christopher Nolan. Like there was a lot of like 100%. Nolan, the bending of light and time in the hyperdrive or whatever in the warp speed.
So cool.
The slingshot around the black hole, all of that.
Hands down the coolest scenes in the movie.
Time dilation,
100%.
The concept of that. Like I thought it was all kind of like a nice one, like a 25-minute nod to like the founding, not the founding father, but like one of the greatest
to the founding fathers.
Well, like I was gonna say, like
this is an honor to George Washington. I
was thinking
R.I.P. George Washington. You would have loved the Silver Surfer.
Okay, yes. Anyway, I was talking more about like Stanley Kubrick and George Lucas having a bone to pick with me calling Christopher Nolan a founding father of space movies, but definitely one of the best to ever do it. No, I think it was worth it.
The silver rainbow on the Potomac.
It's fine. Anyway, I just thought that whole sequence was really. I mean, the entire going to see Galactus and getting back was really phenomenal.
Like literally my favorite part of the movie. Like it was just. Like that was like it was cut like that's when it peaked for me, and then like it sort of dipped a little bit, but like it was still good the remainder that we got. But like what I really loved about this movie especially, and like a lot of people have been saying this, it's how they specifically went out of their way to make sure that everyone knew that Johnny Storm was smart. Because like in most iterations, Johnny's just like, I just want to just fuck some bitches and just go fly around and be cool. But it's just like. Yeah, I'm a hot guy, and like I don't know what I'm doing here, but like he literally pulls his weight in this movie so much, and like he's so clutch in this movie just for his brain alone.
And it just makes way more sense because they don't send dumb guys to space. Like they're not sending my stoner ass to space anytime soon. Like that's not gonna happen.
I guess they are now that the millionaires are just shooting celebrities into space now. I don't know.
Yeah, Katy Perry can do it. You can do it, Whitney.
Oh, yay!
Everyone can do it.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Because I do.
But yeah, no, like I really enjoyed seeing that, and it made me excited for a future dynamic between the Human Torch and Spider-Man, because they're both like little science nerds, and like it would be great to see them like tackle a science thing together while also just being like fun bros together. Like it's just like
Hashtag hot guys in STEM. We love
like
it.
literally I like a good like a casual nerd that's nerdy but also cool. Like I love a cool nerd, man. Like
I
like,
completely agree with you, MT, and I think Johnny Storm's probably the character I'm most excited to see in future projects based on this movie.
Right.
I agree.
I think in terms of, I think he kind of stole the movie a little bit, and you know, with Joseph Quinn's performance, and I also feel like, you know, it was probably that way because I didn't connect as strongly with Pedro Pascal's performance as Reed Richards as I wanted to. I thought Vanessa Kirby was phenomenal as Sue Storm, but that character is, I guess I feel like he's the most accessible to bring into other movies now. Like Sue and Reed always seem kind of tethered to each other for better or for worse. And Ben Grimm is just kind of this like tragic figure that was like, he's got like this crazy strength. They did not make him a tragic figure in the movie, which I loved, but it's like, he's not conspicuous. Like you could fold Johnny Storm into a team and it's like, oh yeah, he's the other guy. And then you can reveal, you know, all of the greatness about him. Ben Grimm is Ben Grimm the second he gets there there's no like background for Ben Grimm. Yeah.
I'm really curious now that like you brought it up, like what's going to happen whenever, you know, the Fantastic Four inevitably merge with Earth 616, because like on his Earth, Ben Grimm is very much widely accepted by pretty much everyone as this like lovable celebrity. But like once he's like shoved into this new world where like people are very much like enhanced people phobic, like that's like sort of growing now, like in this like, you know, Wilson Fisk ass like hateful world. Like I wonder if that's when we'll see a more brooding The Thing moving forward, because like he's just sort of not as accepted in this new world, which would be, I don't know, I feel like that'd be an interesting commentary, but also like, you know, I am sort of tired of seeing The Thing always complaining about, even though like granted I would also complain about being a big rock creature, so like I can't be like super
like
I mean, I think it's like foundational to the character though, because like there's so much, there's a lot of like cool stuff that like it's builds on top of it. And like I feel like we needed to see a little bit more of that. It also feels like that's what they cut out of this movie, because all of the other characters had like a big scene and a big moment, and Ben barely got anything.
Ben just visited Natasha Lyonne at work twice. It wasn't that big of a deal. No, that's exactly like one of the main problems that I had with that character is it's fine if you don't want to do the thing where he's like, I'm an uggo, I don't like it. You don't have to make him do that for the 1,000th millionth time, but I would like to see like what is his like struggle, what is his motivation. Like in this movie, to me it was just like, oh yeah, he's a member of the team and he wants to save Franklin like they all do. But it felt like with Johnny, he was like proving his smarts and he was like trying to get closer to the Silver Surfer, and also he was willing to like full on sacrifice himself twice for his nephew. And then obviously Sue had her spiel with the babies and everything, and then Reed Richards also had babies, and so I felt like what did the Thing have to lose necessarily? Yes, of course Franklin, but it's also like it's your best friend's kid, like you guys are in blood, you know, like I don't know, like I didn't feel like he had as high of stakes and as much to lose as the rest of everybody else, besides the fact of just being like, I'm a really good uncle, and like yes, like I would be sad if, you know, if a family member of my friend died, but also I just kind of felt like I need to see him doing more than what everybody else is doing, because what everybody else is doing, they also additionally have their own thing. Where was the Thing's thing?
There wasn't a big showcase for him. And I think like with Reed is kind of like he's close to not having a big showcase power-wise, but I think a lot of the really cool moments in this movie are the solutions he comes up with, and the sci-fi solutions are really interesting and fun. And that's just like pure Reed Richards, right? Where it's like, oh, here's an actual intelligent solution to a movie's problem, instead of just sort of being like, Tony, can you invent time travel? Sure. Like, but the Thing didn't really have that.
I think it's also kind of it's a complicated equation though for Matt Shakman to solve, because they choose to get us 4 years into the run of the Fantastic Four, right? Like we see them in year 4. So that's 4 years of people getting used to seeing this big rock monster. And, you know, if we're going to believe that world peace and like complete demilitarization can happen, then we can probably believe that people will come to accept this orange rock savior.
Yeah, of course.
And not only love him. And also, you know, canon in the comics is like the only person that could ever truly love the Thing is a blind woman because she doesn't have to look at him. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that he can't, like he obviously can't do that either. So I like that it's just I think you guys are nailing it. I'm sure we have lots of, or at least a solid 20 more minutes of Thing character development scenes that would or even Thing set pieces that would you know, like power pieces or power sets that would at least, you know, give him another moment to shine, like breaking something that no one else can break or whatever. Like, you know, I just think it was missing that, but I also think he was probably the most complicated person to do that for, because like you said, Reed and Sue have the built-in, this is their child, and Johnny is Sue's brother. So it's like, he is kind of the outsider. He's kind of
the outlier. Yeah. So I feel like he needs an like he needs, obviously, of course, to care about that. And what's his other thing that's going on? But yeah, and I do believe with all my little heart that they had a lot more cool shit with Natasha Lyonne that they just didn't have time to put in the movie. And same with like the John Malkovich stuff. I feel like we could have gotten a cool fight scene if we had actually been able to see John Malkovich and not just the apes.
Yeah, I would have preferred almost if instead of doing a montage of a bunch of villains, which makes me now think in retrospect that last act, all of those villains came together to help fight Galactus, or help, maybe not fight him, but maybe to like evacuate the city and not just Mole Man. I kind of just wish that they did like the standard thing where it was just like an action set piece against one villain. Just do like a mole man set piece. The montage stuff never worked for me, and they did it multiple times in the movie, and I was just like, this isn't hitting for me.
No, for sure. Like I'm of the same camp. Like I'm sure that there were like a lot of like things behind the scenes that we don't know about that made them cut this movie this way. But I would have preferred to have seen more Fantastic Four kicking their, you know, rogues gallery's butts, because like that is a huge part of why they're famous. Like they're not just, you know, like scientists and famous, because like, you know, being a scientist isn't as cool as being a superhero. You know what I'm saying? So like I want to see that. I would have loved to see that more. And I feel like, you know, well, obviously like moving forward we'll see that in like future Fantastic Four movies, but like I do want their next Fantastic Four film to have a much smaller. I mean, obviously, you can't really get as big as Galactus, but like, I don't want them to be fighting like a natural disaster. I want them to be fighting like an actual villain that like forces them to think outside the box and, you know, challenges them on like a more human level, rather than like, oh shoot, let's build, let's take Earth and move it over there.
I do think it was an interesting creative choice to make Galactus not invincible to like small human, even powered humans. Like they were genuinely able to hurt him and slow him down several times in that fight. And it's like, and even when they're getting away off of his ship, it's like, normally it feels like when there's a giant kaiju scale monster versus human beings, it's like this thing's just invincible. You can launch missiles at it, you can shoot bullets at it, and it won't do anything. It's like Johnny was able to damage him pretty severely and temporarily blind him, and slow him down. And I thought that like that made the battle a little more accessible, because normally like one giant creature versus a bunch of little people just turns into like they get defeated on a technicality, or usually they get defeated because of their own like hubris or whatever. Like they go too far, or they you know, they lunge for something and fall over. It's like this was actually like small people working together to defeat a giant obstacle, and I thought that was interesting. I don't know that it was 100% a stick the landing, but it was definitely a different take on it.
I think he was so imposing in that opening scene, right? He like literally looks just like the universe. Like he's got stars off his metal. It's this giant imposing force, and then all doing up angles. And then once he lands on Earth, it's all down angles, and he loses a lot of his grandiose stature. because we get a bird's eye view of him and he's just sort of like, he's big enough to fit on one street.
Yeah, that also, I was like, what are you doing, man? Yeah.
But he can change sizes, right? Isn't that part of his power thing? Like he could, maybe he needed to be sleek.
Exactly that size.
I'm just like, he needed to be aerodynamic to fit his hand into the Baxter building, I think. That's my
So I do have a bit of a rogue theory, if you guys don't mind me positing one. Because like at the end of the movie, we do see, with the Silver Surfer's help, they bonk the Galactus into a portal, never to be seen again. Presumably to a different part of space. But since this is the multiverse saga, and since it did look like some type of weird black hole like scenario, what if Galactus did get sent to Earth 616 with this teleportation? And because like if that were to happen, that would spell doom. Well, no pun intended. That would spell doom for 828 on two levels, because like not only is Galactus definitely for sure an anchor being, much like Wolverine was in Deadpool and Wolverine, but like obviously what Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness talked about with people from other universes being left in the wrong universe, that could potentially cause an incursion with Earth 616 and like allow the walls between the universes to collapse that way. But there is the whole thing of like Galactus being the only singular being in the multiverse, so like maybe that rule doesn't apply to him specifically.
Well, would you think that would mean that the doom at the end in the post-credit scene was getting Franklin Richards to stop Galactus wherever he ended up? Like, was that why he was getting Franklin Richards? Because Franklin Richards is tied directly to being able to defeat Galactus. Was that doom there as a like, he's like, I need this kid because this giant celestial just showed up, or whatever Galactus is. This giant god just showed up.
This fucker just showed up. He's still talking about Franklin. He will not let it go.
He won't stop talking about how hungry he is. We gave him Chick-fil-A. It's weird. He just won't shut the fuck up.
Okay, I have a theory about why Galactus is always hungry. Do you want to know?
Oh, yes.
So, what if he's trapped in a perpetual cycle of the munchies because every time he breaks down a planet, he consumes that entire planet's marijuana supply. So he just keeps, it's a never-ending cycle of giving himself the munchies
but
more
wouldn't
and
it be
more.
Counterbalanced by that entire planet's cocaine supply? Hey, Shalabel, get over here. I want to start a business. Shalabel, come here. God, you have beautiful eyes. I shouldn't have made you silver. I'm so sorry. I love you so much, but I hate you. Here's what we have to do. We got to go to another planet. We got to buy all their McDonald's, and we got to change them. We got to change the name to Whack-Donald's, and we'll sell Whack-A-Moles in there. It'll be amazing. Oh, my God. Are you as crazy as I am? I feel nuts. We should go to Disney World. You think we can drive to South Carolina tonight? You think we can drive to South Carolina tonight? It would be amazing to drive to South Carolina. They have the best barbecue in South Carolina. I think we can make it there in 12 hours.
Galactus, you sound so basic. If we're going to do all that, I need you to open a new credit card for
Galactus
me.
will see you now. You should not have come here.
You should not have come here. I herald your death, you basic poor little planet.
I herald
What
his
are
beginning.
you?
I herald your end.
I herald massive amounts of credit card debt, darling.
I fucking love that scene though.
Yeah, I think that scene is dope. I think her and Johnny are the highlights of the movie, and their romance, or their tragic romance, is the best part of this movie. And I wish we had another scene of it.
I am wondering what the hell happened to Noran Rad in this universe, because like obviously he's the Silver Surfer usually in the Marvel comics. So like what makes this like the what if scenario? Like is it like what if Noran Rad got into a car accident, or like and like left Shalabal by herself, or like like I wonder why he wasn't chosen and Shalabal was. Like what was different about this universe. But
what if Jonah Hill was in this universe and she never became the Silver Surfer because he was like, I'm uncomfortable with you surfing.
Noran Rad played by Jonah Hill.
Oh my God, that'd be so fucking funny.
He just weaponizes therapy language at Shalabal until she caves.
I have created a loving fence around your surfing. It makes me uncomfortable. If you cannot agree to these core principles of our relationship, I will have to transition to a status as a single man. All right, bro.
I never actually cared about Noran Rad in this movie. I think doing Shia LaBeouf was the best decision because
100%.
Yeah.
Like using her as a foil to both Sue and Johnny, like it's great. It's fantastic. And I think it juices so much just like drama out of it. And I think it's a great decision.
She's like, kill that girl. She's about to kill your fucking
That was
nephew.
awesome.
Yeah. I love that moment so much.
And he's like,
seriously?
but she's hot. Come on. She's naked and she's on a surfboard. She's like, if Tony Hawk had tits, please. Or sorry, if Johnny Tsunami had tits. Why did I say Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk had Johnny Tsunami had tits.
Yeah. One of
the
those.
fact that they did not shy away from giving her moments where she could surf all the time.
Oh my God!
So
yes.
Surfing on lava, surfing on dirt, surfing on water,
surfing through a warp speed. Drive.
Literally,
you got it surf in a wormhole.
Oh,
dude, it was so freaking rad. But yeah, like I really loved her in this movie. I want to see more of her. I wonder if she's gonna appear at some point in Secret Wars or maybe Doomsday. I mean, I highly doubt Doomsday, but like Secret Wars, it would be great to see her again. But yeah, like in terms of like the whole Doctor Doom tease, like I feel like Doom specifically went to the Baxter Building because he heard the signal from Shang-Chi's 10 rings. That's my theory. Because, like, you know, that has to be addressed at some point, and, like, it's the end of the multiverse saga. And all the sorcerers felt that pulse from a different universe. Because, like, that pulse was let out in Talo, and the sorcerers of Montage felt it. So I feel like it's highly likely that, Dr. Doom, being a sorcerer himself, was like, oh, shoot, I felt something from another universe. And, like, it seems like the walls between reality are breaking down, which is exactly what the leader foresaw, and he has a big brain as well. One of the main big brains of the Marvel multiverse. So I just feel like...
the Big Head Gang.
Exactly. Big Head Gang represent. Yeah, no, like, I feel like he went there to sort of, like... He put his pride aside. It's like, all right, like, I gotta get to this other universe because, like, we gotta, like, destroy it, but I'm not gonna tell them I'm gonna destroy it. So I need their ship. And so, like, I'm going to, like, sort of, like, let my pride aside and be like, I need your help. And then he ran into this baby that he heard about. It's like, hey, like, I wonder what this baby's all about. And then Franklin probably healed his face. He was like, oh my God, this baby can do anything. And I'm going to take this.
That's a $10 million face.
I'm Robert Downey Jr. again. My God.
Like
100
Robert
million.
Downey Jr. What the fuck is this? I like
Iron
the
Man
idea
1.
that Dr. Doom is just like a real Three Wise Men type, and he just showed up at the Baxter Building to give Franklin his first PlayStation, and then he's going to leave.
Do you think that Robert Downey Jr. is going to have a real wacky accent as Victor Von Doom?
Oh, man.
Maybe, possibly. I think that's a big possibility.
The fact that they're making his face normal, like, it's pretty clear that's what they're doing at the end of that scene. I think he's just going to be playing it as Tony Starky as possible. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's
I don't know either. It's a mystery, dude.
Colton Agburn on Screen Crush has such a great theory connecting Doom to Tony Stark that...
What is it?
It's basically that Howard Stark couldn't have children, so they adopted a baby, and that baby was supposed to be Victor Von Doom, but that instead that 616's Victor Von Doom became Tony Stark because he was adopted by the Stark family. And all other universes, that Tony Stark is actually Victor Von Doom. So the Victor Von Doom that we're going to get on screen is that Tony Stark is actually an unintentional Doom variant.
He's been Victor the whole time.
Right, exactly. But he never knew. And so that's why he looks like the Victor Von Doom we're going to see, is because the Starks adopted a baby from Latveria without knowing that it was Victor Von Doom.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. I like that, Colton.
Shout out Colton. If I butchered that, go watch him on Screen Crush.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I felt like it was a fun family film, and like it was a great movie for people that aren't into the MCU in general, because they could just pick it up and like without having to like watch anything. It's just like a number one issue for people that want to like start Marvel. Because like I was sitting next to, oh my god, so I got recognized by one of my beautiful nerd babies, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was great running into you, Mohammed and Hussein. And the person sitting next to me amongst them wasn't really into Marvel, and so like after watching that, he was like, "Oh, I'm really curious about like what else is out there." And I was like, that's a perfect reaction. That's exactly
Honestly,
what Marvel
that's like
Studios
the luckiest person in the world is,
wants.
I think I'm gonna check out what this whole Marvel thing is really all about. Sits next to MT in the movie.
Yeah, right. I wonder if anyone here will know about this.
About this little franchise.
I did do a little bit of like explaining in a little Marvel 101 a little bit, but
That's so
yeah, no,
cute.
like that's
I love
what I
The
love
gift.
about movies like this, man. It's just like it makes people interested and excited. Also, Marvel Rivals in general, the video game Marvel Rivals, because like there were so many people at that theater singing the Travis Scott song in the audience, like waiting for the meme song on 90210. And like it's just I love when people like can find their way, like an entry point, whatever it may be, into Marvel, because like it helps us all stay employed. Just kidding.
Yeah.
And MT, I agree with you. I went Friday night. I went with like a mixed group of like some hardcore Marvel fans and some real novices, and I feel like the real novices had an enjoyment of that movie on a level that was like so pure. Like they were like, "Oh, that was really fun," and like weirdly emotional. Like there was a lot of like emotional stakes to that. I was like, "Yeah, it was pretty great." So I think that helped boost my overall rating of it. Was like the enjoyment I saw the kind of just movie fans got out of it. And I do think that like overall the message of the film is strong, and like I, as much as I didn't connect as strongly with Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards as I wanted to, like I do have hope for him in further iterate. Like obviously we know we're getting him in Doomsday. It would stand to reason Fantastic Four will get its own standalone sequel. Yeah. And who knows like what else we're gonna get. And I think one thing that portrayal did was leave that character a lot of room to grow, right? Like and, or a lot of room for the people around him to learn or to interact with, because like he even says like there's something very wrong with me.
You could say that these are his first steps, but he's gonna take more.
He's the true baby of the film.
He's the real baby boy.
You could say it. You could say it.
I do.
You could say it, but you'd be dumb as fuck, Whitney.
I don't think so.
I do wish that he was stretchier in this movie.
I mean, like,
I wanted Galactus pulling him like a fucking scrunchie. That's what I wanted.
I know that they did a double beat with Ben doing that, but I kind of wish that they flung him, and then on the way back they grabbed Pedro Reed, and then they made like a flying wrecking ball.
Yeah,
Reed
a flying flaming wrecking ball swung by Reed would be great.
I came in like a reading ball.
But no, like I do wish that we saw more instances of Reed using his stretching in general.
Like famously, isn't he supposed to be able to stretch like the circumference of the Earth? Like, is it like
okay?
Yes, something like that.
My biggest grievance in a moment where he should have fucking stretched and didn't, and it made me so upset and annoyed and uncomfortable, and I was viscerally angry. So for full disclosure, the day before I saw this movie, I had just had a really horrible conversation with one of my friends about her botched C-section after her first pregnancy. And it scared the shit out of me. It was so graphic and gross and full of blood. And she's fine now. She's doing great. She loves her baby. He's awesome. Shout out to Davey. But I was just so freaked out. Step one. Step two. Why does she let the thing cut the umbilical cord? Holy shit. Those are the roughest hands imaginable. I was freaking out during the pregnancy, like the birthing scene, because I was like, this is my fucking nightmare. This is my fucking nightmare. She's in the middle of space. People are threatening to strap her down. That was absolutely the best part, was when she was like, absolutely the fuck not. I was like, yes, that is very realistic.
And Reed Richards is like, well, you do need gravity to push.
You do need gravity. I'm not trying to So this is the part that I wanted him to stretch for, is that they let the thing catch the baby. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's your husband's best friend all up in your puss. No thanks. Second of all, he has very rough, rocky hands. And that's not the most nimble person to cut an umbilical cord, which is a very delicate procedure.
He literally lost a finger.
It was crazy. And so then, why couldn't Pedro have been holding on to her from behind and still hugging and supporting her and reach his long ass arms all the way around, catch the baby?
Pedro holding her from behind is
her.
how the baby happened in the first place.
It's true. It's very true.
Whitney, I think what you're saying makes a lot of practical sense. I took it as they're trying to show it's a scene that shows like how medically intelligent Ben Grimm is too, that he's able to like, he's supposed to be, a scientist himself, and it's like he's able to deliver the baby. And two, it's a chance to show the gentleness that the thing possesses still, in his humanity, that he can both chop and crush garlic with his hand and also stabilize and care for a newborn baby.
Maybe wear gloves though.
Yeah,
sure. I don't disagree. I literally thought that. I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be like a nice duality of the thing. Like, is that he's soft enough to care for a newborn baby and strong enough to like crush things with the smallest touch. But I agree. I guess maybe visually it would be hard for Pedro to like see where the baby was coming out and look Vanessa Kirby in the eyes.
Nope, because you know what? There was an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, no joke, where Kourtney Kardashian caught her own baby as it swam out of her puss. And if Kourtney Kardashian can do it, Reed Richards sure as shit can.
We're going to have to fact check that.
You want to do it live?
Everything you just said sounds completely
fiction. It's real and true.
Holy smokes. That's impressive
lie.
Of Kourtney Kardashian.
It sure is.
Little Michael Phelps baby swam right out
I'd be
there.
freaking out. Yeah, I think that was another, like, that was just one of the things that maybe I don't believe in, like, first of all, let me just state before I say this, I don't believe in being like, well, I like Superman better. Like, no, like, I don't. Everybody can like both movies, or they can like one more than the other. Either way is fine. That's totally cool with me. You don't need to compare the two, but I do think that the reason I connected with Superman more is because I fucking love dogs, and I don't love all babies. Specifically, I don't love Franklin. He looked so uncanny valley that I genuinely believe that, like, okay, so you know how women, like, babies are designed to look like the way that they do to like activate a hormone in women, so that when we see the really cute baby, we have that instinct to like kick in, like, oh, I have to take care of this thing. I think that the opposite happens when I look at Franklin, because it's like the uncanny valley, and I'm like, no, I need to protect babies from that baby. Like, no, like that's not.
Maybe we should give him to Galactus.
Baby. Maybe we fucking should. I don't know.
Maybe we should put Galactus's mask on his face. He's so ugly.
Circling back to the Kardashians, there's video of it, Tommy.
I know, there's literally video footage.
Another Kardashian video?
The baby swims out.
Sorry.
Into a tub. What stroke does the baby use?
I don't know. She just
they're not in a tub. They're
in a hospital bed.
They're in a hospital.
You guys can't just say there's video of it, then say she's in where is she in a tank? Is she in a bacta tank? Give me some
Yes,
she's got her legs up on the stirrups and she's just pulling.
Okay, so you mean the baby swam out of her birth canal, not into.
Yes.
I'm picturing Kourtney Kardashian in like a kiddie pool.
Oh yeah, no.
Legs akimbo, and then the baby like front crawls out of her birth canal, and then she just goes yoink with the baby.
No,
but I understand what you're saying. She caught her own baby. I think that. Listen, this is what I will say. I agree with you. I trust the Kardashians first on all medical reasoning.
Oh my God, same.
I don't think that I would recommend to anyone having a baby to catch your own baby. I think, thousands of years.
I said Reed should catch the baby. He's the papa. He is the papa,
sure.
And he happens to be very, very stretchy for a papa. Yes. So I think
listen. I'm not
baby.
Catching the baby is not a hill I care to die on.
Put a pair of gloves on if you're going to. Just put a pair of gloves on. Maybe make those gloves made out of, cashmere, so it's a little bit softer. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thankfully it worked out in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it turns out the Thing is a great gynecologist,
Yeah.
and that I judged a book by his very uncomfortable looking fingies.
They do. You know what? I mean, anyone who's ever like sat up on a cinder block by accident and gotten scraped by the concrete edge, I think that's what I always think. Like each of his little finger joints is like a cinder block texture.
Yeah.
And,
Ugh.
I have to agree with you on that. That does not look very comfortable. But
I'm not letting
shout out to
Alicia
him
Kourtney
seems
near.
to like
Kardashian
his
for being at
touch.
the forefront of all birthing.
Yeah. Shout out to Kourtney Kardashian for teaching me
The mother
everything
of
I
all
know
mothers.
about motherhood.
That's
The Celestial Madonna. All in all, this was I feel like we all enjoyed the movie, even though like we all have our gripes about the movie.
Oh,
but like overall,
I genuinely really like it. I do think Superman was for me a more fun theatrical experience.
Same.
But I had a great time. I wasn't dreading seeing it twice. And in fact, I'll probably try to convince my nephews to go a third time. So yeah, it was a win for me for sure. It just was not, I had a more profound viewing experience at Superman, but that does not take anything away from Fantastic Four.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like
for sure.
it's a very fair feeling to feel for a first film. Wow, that's a lot of F's.
That was so many fucking F's. Fantastic Four, first Feps.
First feelings.
First feelings.
Because like, you know, like it does leave us wanting more from, you know, this first family and to see how they're going to develop in the MCU. So like as like a chapter 1 in a Fantastic Four saga, I think this works really well. And I feel like it's a great vehicle to get people interested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right before everything's about to end in Doomsday. So like it encourages people to marathon what came before, which I really support and love. But yeah, before we go, we do have a nice little Q&A question from our Patreon that we're going to answer here because we want to get you guys interested in seeing our full Q&A video that we have up in our Patreon that we just filmed the other day. I love that video so much.
It's really fun. You should watch it. It's good. But it's only available on Patreon.
Lots of revelations in that video. Lots of things that you want to find out the dirt. I want to find out what makes these folks tick.
So without further ado, we've got a question from Brian L. Redman who asks, so I'm sure you all have stories about how you got to be comic content creators, and thus each of you have an origin story / introduction into the comic book realm. So to put this in question form, what were each of your introductions into the world of comics and comic book movies?
I love this question because I love inspiring people that think I've been into comic books ever since like I was, you know, born, and like that's not true at all. I was not into comic books when I was in college like 10 years ago. It wasn't until 2015 where I walked into a Newberry Comics with my girlfriend and I picked up an issue of Spider-Gwen, and I was just like, this fucking rules. Like Spider-Gwen rocks, and I love her so much. And so like from there I just started reading everything, and I just downloaded all the information into my brain, and that's how I got into comic books and making comic book content. It's just like picking up a comic, going to your local comic book shop and giving it a chance, and literally judging a book by its cover the first time and just being like, yeah, I love this cover, so like let's just pick it up and read it and see how it goes. But yeah, that's my experience. But what about you guys? When
I was young, really the only time that I got to like watch a lot of TV was when I was at my grandparents' house, because my parents weren't like, they were like, TV, all right, your brain, kid. So whenever I went to either one of my grandparents' houses, they were the people who would be like, let's watch Batman, the animated series, and not tell your mom. And I'd be like, sick, hell yeah. And so my grandpa started showing me like all of the superhero cartoons when I was a little kid. I think because he got sick of Barbie and princesses and shit like that. And I think that my grandpa was just kind of like, I'd rather watch Spider-Man at least. So he was the one who did that. Then he would be like, you know, and we can read these guys too. And I'd be like, holy fucking shit, are you fucking serious? Let's read about them. So he would read me comics when I was little. I was super into Spider-Man. He got me like way into Spider-Man. And then when the Tobey Maguire movie came out, he was like, Whitney, let's go to Spider-Man. And I was like, oh yeah. I think it came out in 2002, right? So I was 11. Yeah, so I was 11.
Because the Twin Towers.
Wait, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was 2000, I thought. Maybe
was it?
No, because it was after 9/11. They had to delay it because they had the Twin Towers and in the movie, and they had to cover them up.
Damn, they retconned the Twin Towers in Spider-Man.
Was
Well,
X-Men
Yes.
1 2000 then? One of them came out in 2000.
Yeah, I think X-Men 1 is 2000.
yeah.
Sorry, Whitney, continue what you were saying.
Oh, no, that's okay. So I saw it, first Spider-Man ever when I was 11. I loved it so much. And then the other comics that I really do have to give a shout out to because they were very formative in my youth. I would force my mom to buy me Betty and Veronica Double Digest that they used to sell at the cash register at Vaughn's. Like they would have like the little magazine rack and it would be like
I love that.
women's health. And then it would be like Betty and Veronica, Archie and Jughead. And I was obsessed with Archie comics. I made
I
my
love
mom buy
Archie
me
comics.
one every single week that we went grocery shopping. I was so into them. So yeah.
For me, my inroad to comics and comic books was through action figures as a kid. Like when I was, I think I was like 5 when Batman came out, Michael Keaton Batman, and there was a huge push for merchandise and action figures on that, and that made me become hyper aware of the characters. And then my mom introduced me to Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman 66, the TV show. And I think that got me, I was very Batman heavy as a little kid, but I never read comic books really. Then I think, people my age, born in like the mid 80s, early 80s, we were treated to X-Men and Spider-Man the animated series kind of coming out around the same time. And like those really, I think, pushed people past just the action, like the shiny object action figures into some smaller characters and some more like, oh, there's all these stories. And I kind of feel like a combination of those two shows and just this like love of buying these like $5 action figures, it sparked my curiosity. But in terms of like, my parents were not super like into me reading comic books. They wanted me to like read what they called real books, and like they would not buy me comic books at all. I think the only comic books they ever bought me were like Calvin and Hobbes and The Simpsons, like a Calvin and Hobbes comic strip collection.
Okay, if you're a parent and you're watching this, the Palaxy says comic books are real books.
I agree. And I think
Mm-hmm.
my parents now, since I've had comic book jobs pay for my health insurance several years, they think they've started to warm up to it. But I also think like once I got, I became an adult and had my adult money to spend on adult purchases, I started buying comic books that were probably intended for 13-year-olds. And that's when my love of comic books blossomed in my early 20s, I would say. But it was all about the action figures at first for me.
Yeah, the action
Yeah,
figures.
toys were king. Toys were king then, man.
So I think superhero media has always been my favorite. Like growing up with the animated shows, like animated Spider-Man was probably my first favorite TV show outside of Power Rangers. But I want to give a special shout out to City of Heroes, which is the greatest video game ever made. It was an MMO. It came out, I think, a little bit before World of Warcraft. It had the best character creator in the whole world. There was an incredible variety of superpowers that you could mix and match. And it was really, you could like unleash your imagination into this game. It went off the air for a little bit. Some pirates brought it back. I definitely recommend checking it out. You might lose years of your life, which was I was a shut in for
that is all
most
he did
of
during lockdown too,
Yeah.
man. He was
Wait, it's
fully
still
busy.
up?
came back.
He was
Well, yeah,
full-
so it went down, and then a bunch of pirates made a server, and now it's actually officially the Korean company that ended up with the license ended up being like, yeah, you're technically the officially licensed server.
Wow.
So,
What a comeback.
City of Heroes fucking rules. But yeah, so like I got obsessed with City of Heroes like 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade into high school. And like it was a huge part of my life. As anyone who's played MMOs knows, it just sucks the soul out of your life. But because of that, I like just started devouring all sorts of like X-Men comics and like was really into Deadpool in the 2000s. And yeah, so that's like my origin story with superheroes.
Hey,
Cool.
I love
Awesome.
that.
Sick. Nah, just kidding. We're all posers. Just kidding. We've
Actually,
never...
I get a stack of comic books from Kevin Feige every month that are stuffed with dollar bills saying,
Yeah. And those are the
It's
only
our
ones
shill
I read.
package, man.
That's right. My
Kevin
shill
Feige
squad.
knows how to take
Yeah.
care of us, man.
Mhm.
But yes, no, thank you guys so much for watching this Guardians of the Palaxy video. We love you guys so much, and we cannot wait to pal around with you guys next time. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.